Hello everyone, welcome to the Tech and Auto Show. I'm your host Manas Sinha and it is so good to see all of you lovely people once again. In case you're new here, welcome. You've just tuned into that one show which will satisfy your hunger for both technology as well as automobiles at one place, which basically means we are bringing you the best of both worlds in one show. So why watch two shows when you can watch one? Just like every time, there's a lot of action packed up in this episode. Let's kick things off by first showing you a glimpse of what you can expect over the course of the next half an hour. This week we'll go scrambling in the Royal Enfield Scram 411, the latest Royal Enfield in India. Then we'll show you perhaps one of the best Android phones that money can buy, the Oppo Find X5 Pro. And we'll go scrambling again in the Ducati Scrambler. So there you have it, all of that action will be coming your way and even more on this episode. But we're going to start off with the Royal Enfield Scram 411. Now this is a motorcycle based on the Royal Enfield Himalayan, but toned down a little bit and give it Scrambler styling. Does it work? Well, Anirudh is finding that out up next.
Himalayan was built for all roads and no roads, but Royal Enfield claims that there was a segment of their customers who didn't want as much as what the Himalayan had to offer. A motorcycle that is a bit more urban friendly. So what did Royal Enfield do? They subtracted a little bit of its weight, they subtracted a little bit of its touring capabilities, and they gave us this, the Scram 411. So we took a short ride to Big Rock Dirt Park in Bengaluru to see what the bike is all about. So why wait? Let's get into it. Now looks are subjective, and on that front, the Scram did not disappoint us. The stance, which is more hunkered down than the Himalayan, the comfy single seat, the low handlebar, and its overall persona that says it can outright take a beating, seems like a visual formula that will definitely catch your eye no matter what. But there are a few aspects that sets its derivative apart from the Inspirer. For instance, the windshield on the Himalayan has been traded in for a cast aluminium headlight cowl. The panels that hugged the tank before has been ditched, and the grab rail at the back has been reduced in size as well. Not to forget, Royal Enfield has also introduced a palette of new, very attractive paint schemes, 7 to be precise, out of which we were most opportune to ride the matte white and red color. The paint finish, like the new generation Himalayans, are of superior quality, but we did manage to find inconsistency in fit and finish of materials here and there. Now let's talk about the package, and the Scram 411 in a lot of ways proves to be strongly tethered to its Himalayan roots. Case in point, components like the chassis, the suspension and brakes have been derived from the latter. However, the new package feels more civilized. Picture the Himalayan to be the elder brother who joined the army and the Scram to be the younger one who joined the top ranks of the city police force. The Scram gets the same instrument cluster as the Meteor 350 minus the chrome embellishments. The main dial shows vital information like gear position indicator, odometer and the analog speed dial. Meanwhile, the optional trip meter with Google Maps navigation is reserved for the higher variants. Now, considering that Royal Enfield wanted to make the motorcycle more urban friendly, we could have done with alloy wheels, at least as an option, as the spoke wheels can often prove to be a hassle in case you face a puncture. Also, the motorcycle does not come with switchable ABS, so the occasional fun during off-roading is definitely out of the picture. Now Royal Enfield has cut down the wheel size. This one has a 19-inch wheel, which means the rake is a bit sharper by about half a degree. Once you get on the motorcycle, the handlebar is also lower, the seat is also lower, the bike overall sits lower than the Himalayan. What this translates to is a more nimble and forgiving bike in your unforgiving urban traffic. The seats have the right amount of cushioning, keeping fatigue and uncomfortableness at bay for a very long time. Even while standing, in spite of the handlebar being about 60 mm lower than the Himalayan, the Scram can be grabbed tightly by the tank and hence provide better control. Now the engine is the same 411cc unit from the Himalayan, but Royal Enfield says that the fuel injection is a bit more aggressive to suit its riding style. Also, 90% of the torque comes in at as low as 2500 RPM. What does it translate to? Let's find out. In one word, fun. With a 5 kilos shave-in of the Himalayan, the Scram feels eager to climb up the RPM range with ease. The torque at lower end starts out thick and is spread evenly throughout the rev range. While we did notice some vibration in the 2000 to 4000 RPM mark, the ride was smooth and refined after it. Now, as we mentioned before, the suspension, brakes and chassis are all borrowed from the Himalayan. However, in the Scram, the components come together to make the motorcycle more nimble and agile. On less than good roads, the front and rear suspension proved to be plush, eating up most undulations. Off the road, we felt the same setup could have done with a bit more damping. The brakes, however, is where we discovered some room for improvement, as under heavy braking, the setup lacked proper bite and feel.
Now the Scram 411 was built with one purpose, and that was multi-purpose. Now hear me out, I know it sounds odd, but after a day of riding it in the city, on the highway and through some very challenging trails, I'm covered in mud and sweat, but I'm still happy. It's because the bike didn't flinch one bit, no matter what you threw at it. So, a Scrambler on your mind? Here's something to look forward to.
Now let's talk about the world of technology, and in that world, especially when it comes to flagship smartphones, but the competition is heating up and how. Now, in the world of Samsungs and Apples, Oppo has entered with all guns blazing with their latest phone called the Oppo Find X5 Pro, and on paper it looks like this might be the ultimate Android experience that you can buy. Devashish Sarkar is giving it a go. Take a look at how it went.
Now, Oppo has been making a lot of noise in the Indian smartphone market, and it recently launched the new Oppo Find X5 series of smartphones internationally. Now, what I have with me right now is the new Oppo Find X5 Pro. Now, this smartphone offers the best of the hardware features you can expect from Oppo, featuring the best of the camera technologies and charging features. But there is one key question to ask. Will Oppo launch the new Find X5 series in India? Especially the Oppo Find X5 Pro, because the price will be easily around ₹1 lakh. Is Oppo confident enough to do so? We don't know yet, but you can obviously check out the new Oppo Find X5 Pro here. The Oppo Find X5 Pro flaunts a new design that feels good and is easy to hold in one hand. The device looks premium and it's quite sturdy. Oppo is offering an aluminium frame with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus protection for the display, along with a ceramic back panel. There are two color options, white and black. It's a dual SIM smartphone with support for eSIM. Also, the phone is IP68 rated for dust and water resistance. The Oppo Find X5 Pro features a 6.7-inch AMOLED display with QHD Plus resolution and LTPO technology with up to 120Hz adaptive refresh rate. This means the refresh rate of the display automatically adjusts according to the content on the screen. There is HDR10 Plus support as well. The Find X5 Pro is powered by an octa-core Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip with up to 12 GB of faster LPDDR5 RAM. Also, the device comes in two storage options, 256 GB and 512 GB. There is no microSD card slot. Talking about the camera, the new Oppo Find X5 Pro has a triple camera setup. There is a 50 megapixel primary sensor with an aperture of f1.7. The other two sensors include another 50 megapixel ultra-wide sensor and a 13 megapixel telephoto lens. Oppo is using its own Mari Silicon X chip for improving image quality. The camera also offers 5-axis optical image stabilization for stable photos and videos, along with a 13-channel spectral sensor for accurate colors and Hasselblad's color calibration. It's a 5G-enabled smartphone with Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, NFC and a USB Type-C port. There is also an in-display fingerprint sensor. The Oppo Find X5 Pro comes with air gestures that lets you control apps like YouTube, Instagram and others without touching the screen. The smartphone is backed by a 5000 mAh battery with 80-watt Super VOOC fast charging support. You also get 50 watt wireless fast charging support and 10 watt reverse wireless charging support. As for the pricing, the Oppo Find X5 Pro comes at 1299 euros, which converts to around rupees 1,09,000 in India. Now, the new Oppo Find X5 Pro is easily one of the best flagship smartphones that Oppo has ever created. Now, this offers the best of the software and hardware features and will easily take on flagships from OnePlus and Samsung. But the key question to ask, will it come to India? We don't know. And also another important question to ask is, if at all it comes to India, at what price will Oppo launch this phone?
Now at the start of the show, we told you about the Royal Enfield Scram 411, which gave you that Scrambler experience in a budget. However, if money is not a problem and you want to have the full-fledged OG Scrambler experience, then the Ducati Scrambler has been the de facto motorcycle in India to buy. The latest 2022 version packs a punch, as Anirudh is telling you up next.
Now today we have something Italian with us, and it's not painted in red. Rather, it's gowned in this beautifully bright yellow paint scheme, just like this morning. Now personally, for me, one of the biggest visual indicators for the Ducati Scrambler is this very paint scheme. And like I fixated on this color, there are quite a few assumptions and expectations when you hear things like the entry point to Ducati's lineup or the most affordable Ducati. But today, we are going to go past those expectations to tell you what the story is really all about. So, let's begin.
Now, in terms of design, not a lot has changed in the new Scrambler in comparison to its predecessor or the model before that. The ethos has remained the same throughout its generations, and that's only because it works and how. Each element in terms of looks is woven together with perfection. Typically, a Scrambler motorcycle sheds its unnecessary elements to be a lightweight and hence a good urban vehicle. And on that front, the Ducati Scrambler is a charmer. The paint quality is superior, and there are little to no mistakes when it comes to the fit and finish of materials throughout. In the new version, a handful of visual changes come in the form of a new headlight with a ring LED DRL, although we did wish for the main headlight to be LED as well. The motorcycle gets a new set of alloy wheels that is a wise departure from the old design. Also, the exhaust end can has been changed, which now fits the motorcycle's persona perfectly. In terms of design, the new Scrambler has evolved quite a bit as well. For starters, there is a fuel gauge and a gear position indicator now. Both the brake and the clutch lever can be adjusted for reach, which proved to be a handy nick. The instrument cluster comes with useful information like range and ambient temperature that can be read when on the move. On halt, this unit also shows a few additional elements in the settings menu. This includes setting for your DRL, turn indicators, and date and time display. Also, the motorcycle will remind you about its service schedule and battery health as well.
Now it's a Scrambler and a rather forgiving one. Get inside the motorcycle and you are greeted with a very low seat, tall and wide handlebars and foot pegs that are sporty but not aggressive. All this results into a riding posture that leads to no pull this or tone that, even during long city commutes.
The seat, to say the least, is extremely comfortable, and the riding triangle while standing up is quite comfortable too. Also, sitting and moving the 190 kilo vehicle is not a hassle either, considering how low the weight of the motorcycle sits. All in all, the city commutes will not be a pain in the back. During a typical hot day in your busy city traffic, the Scrambler can prove to be quite cumbersome, considering how quickly the air-cooled 803cc engine starts spitting heat, engulfing you in a hot bubble. But a good stretch of open road and the Scrambler returns to its original personality, pulling away from the signal and leaving a crowd of onlookers staring at the tail light. The thick spread of torque that runs throughout its RPM range lets you short shift in the city and also carry speeds as low as 40 to 50 km per hour even on 4th or 5th gear. The clutch is light enough to keep an aching wrist at bay, and given its weight, the Scrambler's low seat height and its sharp steering geometry helps filter through traffic with utmost ease. Taking the Scrambler to a nearby hill station on the weekend can be a good idea too, considering how forgiving and friendly it behaves on the twisties. The suspension at both ends feels plush during city commutes but maintains its composure while attacking tight corners at high speeds. And in unpredictable Indian road conditions, when a pedestrian appears out of nowhere or a dog that ran across the road without warning can be out of your worry, considering that the Scrambler has a great set of brakes providing good bite and feedback as well.
Now, Ducati's formula for the Scrambler has largely remained untouched since inception, and the new version reminds us why. Now, get over its not so intimidating looks and its boyish charms, and the motorcycle is still the one that finds the perfect spot between intimidating and enjoyable. So, all in all, a fun-filled, characterful Ducati indeed.
Welcome back. You're watching the Tech and Auto Show and I'm your host Manav Sinha. Now, laptops that can do more than what they are meant for, well, absolutely they make for a great package and a great recommendation to buy. Now, the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop also sets out to achieve more than what you might see it on paper. How does it fare? Well, Abhik is finding it out up next.
2-in-1 laptops have been around for a while, but not everybody is sold by their idea. On paper, these laptops look good as they aim to offer experiences of both PC and a tablet. But from a consumer's point of view, this idea sometimes may seem a bit gimmicky. So to answer these questions, today we are looking at the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop that comes with a starting price tag of roughly Rs 58,000. So in case you're planning to buy a 2-in-1 laptop, here is our breakdown. We'll start with the basic, that is the exterior design. We get a metal body with platinum silver finish, which doesn't look bad at all. There's a 14-inch touch-enabled screen with full HD resolution and narrow bezel. The screen cannot be detached from the body, but it can swivel up to 360 degrees, giving it a full tablet-like form factor. What I also like is that the laptop is lightweight, it is easy to carry and weighs barely 1.5 kilograms. In terms of connectivity, we get two USB-A ports. On the left, we have a USB-C port that can be used for charging as well as there is an HDMI port. On the right, we get a micro SD card slot and a 3.5mm audio jack. What I also like about this laptop is that the webcam has shutter that not only ensures privacy but can also be useful for work from home situations. The power button doubles up as a fingerprint scanner, which is fast and responsive. Some of the variants also come with Dell Active Pen stylus that is easy to use, and it uses quadruple A battery. The good thing is that the stylus has magnet that can attach to the metal lid. Specification wise, the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop looks very modest. The version we have comes with an 11th gen Intel Core i5 processor, integrated Intel Iris Xe graphics, 8GB of RAM and 512GB of SSD storage. At the time of launch, it came with Windows 10, but it now ships with Windows 11 out of the box. There are higher models with up to 11th gen Intel Core i7 CPU and up to 16GB of RAM, but of course, those are more expensive. During our test, the laptop with 8GB RAM performs smoothly without making too much noise. We get a glossy display that offers good colors and deeper blacks. The touchscreen is also responsive and the Active Pen stylus works very well as well. Since this is a productivity focused laptop, don't expect too much gaming on this one. For regular web browsing and content viewing, the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 won't disappoint. The hinge mechanism is also very solid and users can enjoy benefits of the tent mode. This can be a great addition while watching content or taking notes. The keyboard response is also very smooth, and this is coming from someone who spends roughly 8 hours typing on a keyboard regularly. We do get a backlit keyboard and there are shortcut keys to manage brightness and audio. However, the laptop comes with an average webcam like most notebooks in the market, so if you need to attend video calls daily, this might not be the best companion. As mentioned, the fingerprint scanner works smoothly, but the support for Windows Hello Face would have been a great addition. The Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop is not only designed to improve your productivity, but it is also designed to improve your entertainment experience. That being said, the audio output on this laptop is surprisingly loud without compromising the clarity. We get stereo speakers, but there's no support for Dolby Atmos. And in case you're wondering what the sound output is like, here is a sample. Since this is a compact device, the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop gets mixed reviews in terms of battery. During our test, we got roughly 5 hours of battery on an average, which isn't bad but isn't great either. With the bundled 65-watt charger, the laptop takes 1.5 hours to fully charge. The good thing is that with the USB Type-C port, customers can also charge this laptop. I have maintained in my previous reviews that laptops aren't like smartphones, so customers need to be thorough with their requirements before making any purchase decision. If you are into gaming, this laptop does get a variation where you can choose Nvidia graphic card, but again, that won't promise you the best gaming experience. But if you are focused into productivity, this laptop won't leave you disappointed. But do remember that we get a compact screen, so using spreadsheet apps like Excel will require you to zoom in. But thanks to the touch-enabled display, scrolling in, upwards, sideways or in any other direction can be done seamlessly. Overall, the display is also very good and we get good color accuracy, but the screen has a glossy finish, so using it under the broad sunlight isn't always helpful. Lastly, if you are planning to buy a 2-in-1 laptop with stylus support, the Dell Inspiron 14 2-in-1 laptop does prove that 2-in-1 laptops aren't always gimmicky.
And with that, we've come to the end of this edition of the Tech and Auto Show. How did you find the show? Is there anything you have to say, anything you want us to cover, or simply want to have a conversation with us? Well, reach out to us on Twitter. We are more than happy to talk. For tech, reach out to us at News18Tech, and for auto, reach out to us at News18Auto. That's all for today. I'll catch you same time next week, only on CNN News 18.